The area of accreditation, which is fairly new to St. Lucia, will ensure there is a standard approved by the National Accreditation Council, which satisfies those seeking to further their education, and that the institution that they are desirous of pursuing studies meets the approved mark. The forum of internal stakeholders helps set the platform for the work that is required, ensuring that nothing is left out in the creation of a framework that governs the work of the Council. Chair of the National Accreditation Council, Dr. Alison Kajada, says accreditation should not be confused with certification and verification, which is the work of the Ministry of Education's Human Resource Development Unit in validating one's attained qualifications. Accreditation, on the other hand, she says, goes a step further.
It means that you are providing testimony for the competence of that institution to deliver consistently that product or service. So it means, therefore, in the education sector, that accreditation would not only speak to accreditation of your core programs, but it would look at the institutional arrangements.
Dr. Kajada says the Higher Education Licensing and Incentive Act, which created the Council, ensures that it has the powers to fully audit any institution that is providing higher learning programs on the island.
To go in to assess the governance arrangements of that institution, the management arrangements, its organizational structure, its assurance processes, meaning to determine whether or not it has processes in place to ensure the consistent delivery of that program.
Councillor and representative from the Attorney General's Chambers, George Shalmine, who provided a legislative overview of the Act to the forum, said that as a developing nation, St. Lucia requires a regulatory framework for delivery of education at higher education levels, as it has direct impact on all sectors.
It is a scrutinization process, and it is one where we take in consideration a multitude or a myriad of factors to determine whether this is something that we want to allow for our students to achieve and attain, and so that it can now segue into the professional world.
Permanent Secretary in the Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training, Michelle Charles, says a new education policy of the Ministry of Education, which spans the years 2021 to 2026, is creating several pathways for higher education heavily based on assuring quality. She says it is important to develop confidence in the education system of those desirous of higher education, as well as investors who would be looking for new team members in the job market.
So while we're focusing and emphasizing on lifelong learning, we cannot just allow our students or our learners to just take up any bit of, training that is being offered anywhere. And if we're talking about workforce development and developing employability skills, we need to ensure that our learners are in a position to be able to have that recognized certification that is also portable to allow them to be able to contribute more meaningfully to the workplace.
Alongside the mandate of the National Accreditation Council is the creation of a national qualifications framework which structurally assigns levels of training according to the expected outcomes of the course of study, leading to the awarding of the qualification. The National Accreditation Council is also receiving assistance from its counterpart in Barbados and the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, among other stakeholders in various fields in the development of the governing accreditation framework. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology and Vocational Training, I am Satney reporting.